Hi everyone, my name's Electric Donkey and today we're back on the No Man's Sky project. We were doing in the last 40 odd episodes or whatever. So if you remember in the last one we kind of started doing the randomization in the world. I'll just show you quickly what we did, so if you haven't already watched that video, to go back and watch it for this video. So you can see when you load it up you get a random world with random planets in it, and they're kind of spaced out between them, so they're completely random in where they are, and that's all well and good, but what we want to, that one's not great there, but yeah, it's all well and good, but the problem is if we now close this, or even if we go onto this planet, then we come back, it's being randomized again, which isn't good really. We want it to be saved somewhere so that whenever we come off the planet it looks exactly the same as when we went down onto the planet. So to do this we're going to make some more saving, so just like the save world in a way. So we're going to duplicate that one actually, and we'll call it script save, what is it, it's the universe I guess. Now we don't need a unique identifier, we just need we don't even need the grid to save, in fact, because what we're going to be saving is the position of the instances in the room. So we can get rid of that. We need to open it though, that is quite important. But we're not going to do all this, we're just going to call it universe.text, relatively simple. Then we're going to write a string. Now this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, because we're going to need a for loop for this. So we're going to say var I equals 0. It's pretty much your common for loop. I is less than, and now this is where we need to use one of the instance things. Instance, and we need to find, is that where I want instance find? Instance number. Yeah, we need instance number at this stage, and it's going to be object planets, because that's where the one we're randomly making. So basically we're looping through all of the planets that we have, and we're going to be saving it. So in this case we've randomized 10, we've put 10 planets in, so in this case the instance number for this is going to be 10, but we're just going to make sure by doing that. Now this is where it gets a little bit more tricky, because we're now going to say var plan, short for planet, equals instance find object planets I. So effectively what we're doing is we're looping through all of the instances, and then we're saying that that individual instance equals plan each time we loop through. Now the way we're gonna do this in here is we're gonna say the section we will change. So the section is going to be string I. So, and then this is going to be X, and we're going to copy this and make another one for Y. So let me just quickly go through what we've done there. So in this for loop we're looping through all of our planets, and then we're assigning var plan to that individual instance of that planet. Then we are writing in the string the number of that planet. So if that planet is the very first planet that we're going to, then we're going to write 1 here, or 0, and then in the we're saving it the X, and we now want to put what we need to write, and what we're going to write is plan.x, and the same for here, plan.y, because plan is set here to be that instance. So that's kind of that for the moment. That's the saving. Only problem is we don't have a read yet. We're not using scripts for this, but in the Galaxy Gen we need to make sure that we are not making a random planet if we already have one saved. So the way we're going to go around this is say if not file exists and the f name is universe.text. So if the file doesn't exist, we're going to randomize it. Else, if it does exist, we're going to load it from it. Now, how are we going to use this? Again, we're going to ini open. And just so we do it now, we'll do it ini close. But now what we're going to do in the middle? Well, in the middle we want to have another for loop, and it wants to be, it's going to be relatively tricky. It's going to be relatively tricky to do. The only real way that we can use the for loop is by saying for var I equals 0, I is less than amount I plus plus. Because remember, amount is a pre-built-in variable that we put in near the create event. So technically this should be 10. So we're going to loop through 10 times, or the amount of times. We're then going to say, and this is where it starts to get interesting, because then we're going to go, and we're going to say var x equals ini read real. Did we save it as real or did we save it as string? That's the question. We saved it as string. We don't want to save it as string. We want to save it as a real. So like that, real. Okay, and then back into the loading. Ini read real. The section is 0. Oh no, the section is I even. The key is X, and the default we'll just say 0. Right, we're going to do the exact same again. Basically we're just reading from what we've already saved. So we're looping through the amount of times we expect to have planets. Then we're saying var x equals ini read real. We're reading from the text the x and reading from the text the y. We're going to do this 10 times because the for loop. But after we've done that, we're going to instance create object planets, but the other way around, so it's like that. And there you go. Effectively what this should do is if there's a file there, it should open the file, then loop through, in this case 10 times, but the amount of planets we want to have. Then it will read the x from the file, it will read the y from the file, and then it will create in the right position. That's all well and good, but at the moment we don't have any saving. How are we going to solve this? Well, if the file does exist, after we've done all this stuff, we're going to save it. So after we've generated it for the very first time, we're going to save universe. That's all we should really need to do. It's the only time we should really need to save it is after we've first generated it, because it's never going to change after that. So let's give that a go. Now the first time it should be completely random, so it won't correlate to anything. You can see there it is pretty random. So we're in the corner. What if we go down to this planet expecting a string? We've put it made a little rookie mistake there. This is meant to be string I. It's currently an integer because it's in the iteration. So string I. Remember to put that. Okay, so effectively we're first run through doing it randomly. Yep. And there you go. You can see it's being saved. So the first time was completely random, but now it's working. And you can see this world is the same whenever we go out on there. And if we go over to this world, it's also the same. Now what if we close it down, what if we open it up again? Thing is, we should have the same world again. So this is really useful because it means if you wanted to take this a little bit further, you could have like a startup menu, you could have a load world, or you could have new world, and you could just alternate between these two. New world, load world. Opens up possibilities. But basically now we have randomization for the pretty much everything. We have randomization for the universe, we have randomization for the planets, we have randomization of... that's everything. I think it's just those two. I think if we were we could add another level, we could have galaxies, but we'll leave that I think for the time being. It would just be the same as the universe. So yeah, that was saving and loading the universe. If you like this video, remember to like, subscribe, or just do what you guys want to do, and I will talk to you in the next one.